Welcome back to another high tale of an adventurer. Today, we are telling the tale of the start of a journey for our adventurer friend and what he wrote along the way. First, I just want to give a shout out to the Hytale Guide website. The website has all kinds of information on Hytale, which you'll find on the wiki side of the site. There's also the community side of the site with player forums and guides. It's a great site to see what other members of the Hytale community are thinking about the game and a way to get to know members of the community. The link is in the description. Anyways, let's get to reading our adventure's journal log. I had just spawned in, not knowing what to do or where to go. A familiarity washed over me as I walked to the closest tree. When I tried to take it down, I was damaged and didn't try so again. I went around picking up rocks, pebbles, sticks, and berries and managed to venture deeper into the forest doing so. After gathering enough materials, I crafted my first stone axe and went ahead to chop down a tree. After collecting wood and more sticks, I came across an abandoned structure in the woods. Walking over to it, I noticed it was empty and ransacked. I settled inside and set down my freshly made crafting table. Doing so, I had unlocked some thatched structures I could craft to sturdy my little abode. After some time gathering more resources, I had reinforced my new cottage and was ready to see more of what the world had to offer. I organized my bag and looked around the surrounding area, memorizing where my home is. I then set off north, hoping something would show itself to me soon. A few minutes passed, and the sun began to set, and I started to worry. My first night, I had no idea what to expect. Would monsters come out and slay me? Would I become cold and freeze to death? I stopped and thought about turning around, but as soon as I turned to head back, I saw a light in the distance, brighter than the regular glow of the magical forest. Whatever it was would have to be my makeshift shelter for the night. What I had stumbled upon was a magical blue forest full of mushrooms and wildlife, but not fully easing my weary mind. I waited in the forest for a couple of minutes to see if I would be safe, and I was. I sat down in the luminescent forest and waited for the sun to rise. As I waited, I looked around at the beautiful trees and fauna for a few moments. I wandered around and came to a clearing just as the sun slowly rose over a hill. I stopped in awe at the beauty of this scene. I walked out of the brush and into this grassy field, and to my left, I saw an abandoned structure with a torch on top. I walked over to it to inspect if it would have any treasure, and as I approached, I heard some rattling. I was curious, but cautious. I entered the stone tower and saw skeletons. They all turned towards me, and one charged up an arrow and released it, but missed. I turned and ran out, but the skeletons chased me. I ran into the forest and saw some big trees not too far away. As I approached, I saw these weird brown and green creatures look at me, and some had spears. The skeletons were still following me, and I was worried those green creatures would aggro onto me as well, and I was right. As soon as the skeletons got within melee distance, the tree things came running at me with spears. I looked around to memorize my location and accepted my death. Right when the tree things came to me, they didn't attack me, but started attacking the skeletons. I backed up and watched the skeletons perish to the small creatures. After the fight, I followed the treelings back to where they came from. They had a village, and I interacted with one. They are called Kweebecs. I walked around their village, even crawled inside one of their homes to see if there would be some interesting stuff. And there was. I saw what I assumed to be tiny queelings, or baby Kweebecs. Their home was decorated with items, and I wanted to explore more. I went outside and saw a river with Kweebecs all around. This village was absolutely beautiful, and I didn't want to leave. I walked around and kept exploring more. I learned that these creatures are living trees. They're made of wood and worship a goddess. I spent the rest of my day immersing myself within their culture and I was thankful that my life was saved by these guardians of the grove.